Hey guys, it's Shannon. I have another Dollar Tree DIY for you. I was looking for something to put in our kitchen windows that wasn't the traditional Christmas wreath, so I was at the Dollar Tree and I found these really cute, like, they're gold bells, and I thought they'd be really cute put together and given a more farmhouse update. So with a little bit of chalk paint and ribbon, we're gonna update these and give them more of a farmhouse look. So let's get started with this project. I am going to be giving these bells a farmhouse look with an enamel finish, and if you haven't seen yet, I've done this technique before using Dollar Tree products to create a tiered tray. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link that down in the description box below, but this is the same concept. So I'm going to be using chalk paint for this, and the reason is it's going to stick to the plastic of the bells a lot better than an acrylic paint, but of course you could use acrylic paint if you have that on hand. So I'm going to give the bells a couple coats of this white, and then I'm going to do the enamel look with the ink, which is just black chalk paint. And I have a couple paint brushes here, a big one and a small one, to create this technique with. So here are all four of the bells pulled apart. I have the pieces, the bows and the greenery pulled off, but I'm going to keep them. I may use these at the end, and you can also pull these bows apart and use these instead of purchasing new ribbon. You could pull this ribbon apart and reuse it. So hang on to that, because at the end you might want to embellish with it. But now I'm going to go ahead and start painting the outsides of the bells. If you aren't already, you can find me on both Facebook and on Instagram at TheDailyDIYer, and I'll have those both linked down in the description box below. So here's a look at the bells after one coat of chalk paint. I was really impressed with how well even just one coat of the chalk paint went on. You can see they are pretty well covered, and you probably get away with just one coat. I'm gonna go ahead and do two on the outside at least, just to make sure I haven't missed any spots. There's not any thin spots or any gold at all coming through, but I think on the inside when I flip them over, I'm gonna do just one coat of the chalk paint. And that's why I love the chalk paint, because it sticks. You don't have to prep surfaces, and it pretty well sticks to most surfaces. And I use this big fluffy brush. It's really soft, and what that does is it helps lessen the amount of brush strokes that are in your paint, because I really want a clean, nice, smooth finish on these. So that's why I didn't do a foam brush, because I know you guys see me use foam paint brushes most of the time, but I did use this. I believe it's from Hobby Lobby. It was like in a set of like 3, so there was 2 smaller ones as well, and I used the big one. But now I'm gonna go ahead and let these dry, which chalk paint dries really fast too, so that's another perk of that. And add a second coat to the top before I flip them over and do the inside. Here is a look at them after 2 coats of paint, of the chalk paint, and I realized that these 2 bells are different than these 2 bells. So luckily I have 2 and 2 instead of 3 and 1, so I can put these 2 together and these 2 together. So be careful when you're at Dollar Tree, because I guess they have different bells, or maybe mine had some from last year they put out with them. I'm really not sure, but Strange, but a good tip when you're in there shopping if you need several sets of these. Also, my second coat of paint using this paintbrush didn't go so well. It was really globby. I even cleaned this paintbrush out completely, and it still was really, really globby. So the finish on this, I'm not sure if you can see in this video or not, but it sort of has a rougher type finish. So I ended up resorting back to my trusty foam paintbrush and used that to do these other two bells over here, and that did seem to do lots better. So now that these are dry, and here's another tip, I used some cups, some plastic cups to put the bells on so that the edge didn't touch the paper and get stuck. It kept them off the counter. And now I'm gonna flip my cup upside down and put the bell inside the cup so that I can paint the inside. And like I said, I'm just gonna do one coat of the chalk paint for the insides of the bells.
You can also shop my online store and Etsy shop at crossingmyheart.com, where you'll find lots of handmade items as well as easy to use DIY supplies.
All right, so everything has been painted white and has dried completely. Now it's time to add the enamel look. So I'm going to use the black, and basically I'm going to make a ring of black all the way around the bottom, and then I'm going to sort of add some extra black around where there's hard edges to make it look like it's chipped. So that's kind of what enamel is. It's like a coating, and when that gets used and worn, it chips. So I'm going to be using my black chalk paint for this and this small foam paintbrush, and I'm going to use this smaller paintbrush to go back in to add the chippiness. Alright, so here is a close-up look at some of how I added the chippiness to it, and I didn't really want to go too crazy, and I just really touched it on where there were some of those hard edges, whereas if it bumped into something, that enamel would have fallen off. So that's a look at mine. I'm going to go ahead and work on the other three. Okay, so now all my bells are painted and dried. I'm going to attach them together. You can see there's little holes in the tops of the bells where I can run the wire through and attach them together like this. If you don't have wire, you could also repurpose the greenery that we took off in the first step to attach them together. And then I was actually given this ribbon. It's like a red velvet ribbon. And I had made a bow for the wreath that's hanging on the kitchen door with this, so I really want to tie the whole look of the kitchen together, so I'm going to use this to make bows to go in the middle of the bows, or in the middle of the bells. However, you could repurpose the ribbon that we took off of the bells in the first step and use this ribbon because it's pretty much exactly the same as what I'm going to be using here. Or you could leave this all together and put it right back on there even, and I think that would be pretty. So to make the bows, I'm just going to be using my hot glue gun to attach everything, and some wire and some scissors to make the bow, and then I'll show you what they look like at the very end.
So all I'm doing here is wiring the bells together and twisting the wire tight. It's not going to look pretty, but we are going to cover this up so you won't see this part in an upcoming step. Next, I'm creating a very simple tails down bow, and it's just 2 loops of ribbon and then a longer piece cut and tied to the center to create the tails. Then I just dovetailed them with my scissors and wrapped the center with another strip of ribbon and glued it on to secure. And here is where I am hiding the wire, and all I did was wrap some ribbon around the middle and glue it in place. I also tied some red and white twine through the center there, that way I could hang the bells from the kitchen windows. Next, I added some hot glue to the bells and applied the bow to secure it into place. And then it was finally time to hang the bells in the kitchen windows. It's definitely a different look than a traditional Christmas wreath for the kitchen, but I'm really going for that enamel farmhouse look in there this year, so these bells just really help to tie the whole farmhouse kitchen look together. You could also spray these with a high gloss clear spray paint to really give it that authentic enamel look. Ended up skipping this step because we had gotten 5 inches of snow and it was just too cold and snowy outside to get a good coat of spray paint on these. But I think they still look wonderful without it. Let me know down in the comments below if you've seen snow this season yet or not. I hope that this tutorial inspired you. Make sure to give it a thumbs up for me. You can also share this with your friends and family and inspire them too. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I do DIY tutorials every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. Happy holidays. Bye guys.